Every team that shocked the world at the Club World Cup. Let's get to it. When Palmeiras held Porto, Palmeiras came in like they forgot who they were facing. A two-time Champions League winner, Porto, the kings of tactical control. Didn't matter, the Brazilians stood their ground like a team on a protest mission. Porto pressed, passed, crossed, but couldn't crack the green wall. It was like trying to unlock a vault with a spoon. Palmeiras didn't bother trying to outplay them. They just shut the entire game down. Every time Porto got into the final third, Palmeiras turned into a swarm. It wasn't elegant, it was a war. Tackles flying, fouls traded, time wasted. But it worked, and somehow the scoreline that looked dull was actually historic. The match ended on a goalless draw. Palmeiras became the first South American side in years to stonewall a European giant with zero fear. How Inter Miami breaks Europe with a free kick. Porto's second game should have been a bounce back. Instead, they got Messi'd. Again, Inter Miami looked shaky. But then Messi stepped up in the 90th minute like it was scripted. One free kick, curled in like a signature. Porto's wall jumped, froze, and watched it slide in. That was a heartbreaker for Porto. It wasn't just the goal, it was the moment. Inter Miami became the first MLS side to beat a UEFA champion in the group stage. And they did it with the oldest GOAT on earth still doing GOAT things. Fans online went wild. Everyone expected Inter to get embarrassed. Instead, they wrote history. How PSG humiliated Messi. When people say PSG is the best team in 2025, that's not a lie. We all knew there was no chance for Inter Miami. It's a clear heartbreak. Messi's reunion with Paris was more like a breakup text in front of a crowd. Paris Saint-Germain went full nuclear. João Neves scored twice. Hakimi added sauce. Thomas Aviles gifted them an own goal just to seal the shame. 4-0 at halftime. Messi didn't touch the ball. Busquets slipped. Alba faded. Suarez wheezed. Luis Enrique knew their weaknesses and pressed every button. That wasn't just a loss. It was Messi's first ever in Club World Cup history. From Barcelona glory to this, football can truly be cruel. When Fluminense stunned Inter Milan 2025, what a time for South American football. And what a horrible season for Inter Milan. After facing that humiliation at the Champions League final, they sacked their coach and went straight to the pre-season. Club World Cup. At the round 16, Fluminense was the underdog, but they pulled off a shocking performance against Inter Milan. Hercules scored the second goal in the 93rd minute that sealed the victory and took Fluminense to the quarter-final. Inter Milan, the specialist in defeats, was stunned once more by another Brazilian side. Could this be South American clubs showing European clubs who the real boss is? When Al-Hilal shocked Man City, 2025. Oh, poor Manchester City. Once champions of Europe, treble holders, Pep's tactical machine, and they still got cooked. It was supposed to be a flex-off, the oil money derby, Al-Hilal versus Manchester City, except only one side remembered to show up. The game went into extra time after a wild 2-2. Al-Hilal's squad worth hundreds of millions. They looked it. Ruben Neves controlled the game like it was FIFA career mode, and Koulibaly was ready to kill himself for the team. Final score, 4-3. Extra time thriller. Guardiola didn't even do his usual press conference rant. Al-Hilal walked out like bosses, an even bigger shock in the Club World Cup considering their quality. When Botafogo shocked PSG. Everyone was still talking about PSG's demolition job on Inter Milan, 5-0. Then Botafogo showed up. They were the Copa Libertadores champions, but no one rated them against PSG. They played like nobody told them they were underdogs. One goal, one perfect counter. PSG couldn't respond. Dembele looked stunned. Botafogo celebrated like they'd just conquered Europe, because they did. And in that moment, South America took back some pride. How Flamengo buried Chelsea's ego. Chelsea took an early lead. It felt like business as usual. Then Flamengo ripped them apart. In 20 minutes, Chelsea went from leading to bleeding. 3 goals, no mercy. Jackson lost his head and got sent off for a wild stamp. Flamengo didn't just win. They turned Lincoln Financial Field into a samba party. Chelsea's stars faded under pressure. They were outplayed, outfought, outclassed. When Atletico pulled the rug on Botafogo. This one wasn't supposed to happen. Botafogo were the Brazilian kings and the Copa Libertadores defending champions. Atletico, no major trophies this season, no reputation, but on that pitch, none of that mattered. Atletico came out swinging. They were fast, physical and fearless. They won every 50-50, cut off every through ball, turned Botafogo's midfield into a ghost town. Final whistle blew, and it wasn't just a win, it was a betrayal, but unfortunately, Atletico failed to qualify due to goal difference. Before we continue with the drama, tap that subscribe button like it's a last-minute penalty. Don't let these bite-sized football scandals slip past you. How Bayern dropped the hammer on Auckland. Sometimes class gaps become avalanches. Bayern Munich didn't just beat Auckland City, they bullied them. Every Bayern player got in on the act. Passes sliced through the defense like it was invisible. The final score was brutal, 10-0. That was the biggest margin in Club World Cup history. No contest, just carnage. Auckland tried, but Bayern showed them the difference between dreams and dominance. When Auckland City forced Boca into panic. 1 week later, Auckland were back, against Boca Juniors, giants of South America. Surely they'd get smacked again, right? Wrong. Auckland dug deep and frustrated Boca all night. It ended 1-1. Boca fans looked like they'd seen a ghost. Auckland's players celebrated like they'd won the thing. A draw for Auckland was like a win. The amateurs made the professionals sweat again. When Fluminense frustrated Dortmund 2025. Borussia Dortmund came into this thinking it would be easy. It wasn't. Fluminense didn't care about Bundesliga pace or yellow walls. They sat back, broke up play, and made every inch a battle. Dortmund kept swinging. Fluminense kept swatting. The match ended 0-0, not flashy, but for the Brazilians, it was perfect. Another lesson in South American patience. When Benfica won the group, over Bayern 2025. Bayern Munich, Champions League darlings, expected to walk the group. But Benfica showed up organised, gritty, and somehow more clinical. They didn't just advance, they topped the group. Bayern had to settle for second. Nobody predicted it, but that's the thing about Portugal. Always the sleeper threat. How Al-Hilal held Madrid 2025. Real Madrid, 5-time Club World Cup winners, always the favourites. But Al-Hilal, they didn't read the script, they rewrote it. They played fast, fearless, and aggressive. Vinny Jr. couldn't breathe. The match ended 1-1, and not a lucky one. Al-Hilal earned every inch. Arab football put the Kings on pause. How Al-Ain eliminated River Plate 2018. River Plate were heavy favourites. South American royalty, Libertadores champions, packed with talent. They took the lead twice. They equalised. They stayed calm. They watched River miss a penalty, then drag them all the way to a shootout. And that's where it got crazy. River folded under pressure. Al-Ain buried every kick like it was written. The final score, 2-2, then 5-4 on pens. The stadium exploded. River fans were in tears. A club from the UAE had just knocked out Argentina's finest. No fluke, no luck, just ice-cold execution and a refusal to die. How Al-Hilal eliminated Flamengo 2022. It was supposed to be Flamengo versus Madrid. That was the dream final, South America versus Europe. But Al-Hilal smashed that fantasy in 90 minutes. They stepped on the gas early. Salem Al-Dawsari scored 2 pens. Then Vieto sealed the deal with a slick finish. Flamengo chased shadows. Their defense fell apart. Fans watched in disbelief as their run ended before the final. The scoreline, 3-2. A thriller that turned the tournament upside down. The Saudis weren't just invited, they were rewriting the script. When Raja Casablanca broke Ronaldinho's heart, 2013. Atletico Mineiro had Ronaldinho, Joe, and a bunch of Copa Libertadores medals. They walked into the semi-final like kings. Raja Casablanca came in with noise, fire, and no fear. In front of their home crowd, they went ballistic. Ronaldinho scored early, but that was it. Raja didn't back off. They pressed, attacked, and tore the defense apart. 3 goals. Full riot. At the end, Raja's players literally took Ronaldinho's headband. No mercy, just energy and chaos. When TP Mazembe crashed the party 2010. Before 2010, no club outside Europe or South America had ever made the final. TP Mazembe said, "Why not us?" They faced Internacional and didn't just survive, they dominated. Goals from Kaluyatuka and Kabangu shut it down. It ended 2-0. A full shock. A continent roared. Kidiaba's signature dance, bouncing like a maniac on his butt, became the face of the upset. Africa had arrived, loud, proud, and historic. When Cruz Azul collapsed to part-time legends, Cruz Azul thought they had it easy. Auckland City again, a team full of part-timers, students, and guys with second jobs. They didn't. Auckland kept it tight, scored once, forced penalties, and then chaos. Vikalik, the 38-year-old defender, led the shootout like a boss. They won 4-2 on pens, bronze medal. The third best team in the world, officially. Visalic got the bronze ball behind Cristiano Ronaldo and Sergio Ramos. Can you believe that? When Necaxa humbled Real Madrid. That was 2000, the first Club World Cup. Real Madrid had Raul, Roberto Carlos, and a whole galaxy of stars. Raul scored first. It felt like a warm-up, but Necaxa had other plans. They hit back through Delgado. Aguinaga ran the midfield. Full-time, 1-1. Then the shootout. Necaxa 4, Madrid 3. Boom. Madrid didn't even make the podium. They finished 4th. Yes, 4th. How Sao Paulo shut down Liverpool. You could think the Liverpool side, who produced the greatest comeback in history, was unbeatable. But Sao Paulo had other plans. In the 2005 final, Sao Paulo versus Liverpool. The English side had everything: speed, height, and Gerrard's power. Sao Paulo scored once through Mineiro, then locked the gates. The real star? Rogerio Ceni, the goalkeeper who wore the armband and saved everything. Gerrard was blocked. Morientes was shut down. Crouch was missing. Sao Paulo took the trophy. Liverpool took the longest flight home. When Internacional sliced up Barcelona in 2006, Barcelona was at their peak with Ronaldinho, decorative, Xavi, Puyol, everyone. But Internacional stayed patient, played deep, waited, then struck. Lali caught the midfield sleeping, set up Adriano Gabiru for the goal of his life. The scoreline was 1-0 when Barca melted Santos in 2011. This one wasn't close. Neymar, the supposed next king, vanished. Barcelona came with rage. They remembered losing in 2006 and didn't want a repeat. Messi danced. Xavi dissected. Iniesta floated. Santos got clapped. The scoreline was 4-0. Total dominance. Even Pelé would have nodded. When Corinthians out-muscled Chelsea. In 2012 final, Chelsea were fresh off a Champions League win. They were supposed to cruise. Instead, Cassio had the game of his life. Save after save. Bullet after bullet. Nothing got past him. One chance for Corinthians, one goal. That's all it took. The Brazilian side smothered Chelsea's midfield. Luiz, Hazard, Torres all looked lost. That was how Chelsea missed out on their first Club World Cup opportunity. In the end, from Messi losing 4-0 to PSG to Flamengo, outclassing Chelsea. The Club World Cup is full of surprises. Nobody's safe, not the Champions League winners, not the South American Titans. So which of these teams shocked you the most? If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, hit subscribe, and come back for more football drama in snackable doses.